In this video, we're going to go through the real day in the life of an investment banker. Now, I myself have worked at Goldman Sachs, HSBC and Morgan Stanley. I studied economics at London School of Economics, which is a top university in the world. And also, I have got an interesting video for us to go through right now, which is this individual who is covering the real life day in the life of an investment banker. Now, I'm sure you've seen many of those funny videos on TikTok where you have these people who are, talking about the day in the life of a major finance or tech job. They're not doing much work. They're just spending time eating food, drinking coffees, spending time with their co-workers, using the massage chair or going to the gym at the company office. But this is more of an accurate take, so I wanted to cover with you. And so if you're interested in investment banking careers, what they're really like, I'll cover it in this video for you. So here she is. She just went to work at around 9:30. So sometimes you can start late. It's not typically always the early start. She gets to the office. It's 10 a.m. She's working on the emails. And one thing you realize in this job, and I mentioned this in one of my other videos, you get to the office and you start your tasks. You go through what you need to do, not need to do. And so much of it is kind of carrying the burden of very inefficient practices. Now, you think at an investment bank with these really high reputations they have as really excellent places, that they would be able to effectively manage the processes more effectively, but there's so much inefficiencies that you'll have to deal with. And I can guarantee you from my experience too, working at those big name investment banks, the first couple hours of the morning, at least the first hour or two, is going through emails, but all these inefficient processes you kind of have to manage. So that's kind of the reality of that investment banking. You're not just, going for a long lunch in the canteen. And then what we have here around 1 p.m. is a coffee. Now, nothing wrong with the coffee. First thing I would point out, though, is coffees are overpriced. I think she's got the largest size there. So there is this dependence on stimulants to get you through the day. Now, it's one thing for it to be coffee. In some cases, it can turn into other stimulants like prescription pills. In America, they have a kind of culture of doing Adderall, which is like a study drug, helps you focus, but is not good for your mind over the long term. But lots of people become dependent on it, and it's kind of easily given to you by many doctors, and they're incentivized through commissions to give you these kind of drugs. I actually know people who, it's quite common in the finance industry for people to be dependent on various substances, right? It could be antidepressant pills, it could be any type of prescription pills to help them focus. Your doctor can easily diagnose you as ADHD or someone who needs some kind of drug to help you focus. People are dependent on coffee, sometimes alcohol in the evenings, sleeping pills, things like that. It's kind of an unhealthy lifestyle, and it can lead to lots of mental health issues and things like that. And like a fast lifestyle where you always need to be focused, doing 101 things, multitasking all the time, is not really healthy to a conducive long-term mindset because things are quite inefficient and you're carrying that burden. But what's interesting is consumption is kind of playing the role of providing comfort. And lots of people, they'll go to their favorite coffee shop and that will give a sense of comfort or happiness, when happiness should really come from your own health and your wealth and your freedom and your relationships and your sense of community or family and kids and things like that. But people become dependent on a substance. That's why Starbucks has such a big brand, particularly within like the finance professional space of professional jobs, because it's it provides a sense of comfort and familiarity in kind of a very tense work environment. So then she says 2 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. she's back to the desk to do work, right? And that's the reality, right? You're not taking all these breaks and coffee breaks all the time. She's doing more emails, more meetings, and more pitches, like more client pitches, speaking to clients to try and find more business to market their products to and sell their financial services. And that's the reality, yeah. What she's not showing here is that there's a lot of interruptions, which are very annoying. People coming to your desk, not to chit-chat, but to dump more work on you, to talk about office politics and how to handle a difficult manager, a difficult co-worker who's kind of powerful and you have to navigate. You can't just walk through them. And what you realize here is there's so many hours dedicated to work and there's very little payoff. And often in investment banking, they'll be working the long hours, like 80-hour weeks, sometimes longer than that, working on weekends. And if you work out how much they get paid after tax and all it, your health insurance or whatever you're paying, your student loan, and you work out how much they get paid per hour, it's not that high. You'd be surprised. Maybe at the more senior levels, they're getting paid quite a lot per hour, but the more junior levels, it's not a lot because it involves long hours. Next up, we have her going to the gym at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the evening. So she spent a whole day practically in the office. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. she's going to the gym for like a boxing session, I think she says, with the boxing gloves, right? So what I want to point out to you here, it's kind of healthy to be sitting at your desk for that long, even if you have a coffee break in between and just responding to emails. This is not a healthy long-term lifestyle. You can do it for a few years in your life and try to get that experience and get that name on your CV, but over the long term, it's not healthy. And you should be doing more than 1 hour kind of fitness throughout your day, whether it's walking on things like that. Maybe go for a long walk and then spend some time in the gym. This is kind of unhealthy lifestyle practice, I would say, right? And it's something I've kind of, in certain times of my life, sacrificed my health to focus on my career, and in certain instances paid off, but in certain instances I don't think it necessarily has. And it's like a life that this is a kind of life lesson that she'll probably learn. And if you're interested in finance, you have to understand the level of sacrifice and time sacrifice, and maybe in some cases health sacrifice you have to make to earn those higher salaries. What's also interesting here is she's not really spending time with family, friends, relationships, kids, things like that. Her entire life revolves around work. And I understand for a lot of people, your work does play a prominent part of your life, but it shouldn't become your life. And in this sense, it has become her life, right? Would she have time for a relationship or to raise the kids? Probably not, right? She's got like 1 hour of free time to do the gym session, and then she'd probably go back to work, right? So this is something for you to consider, and also you need to understand in your social interactions at work, they're not like genuine social interactions. You're kind of under the false pretense. You'd have to engage in professionalism. There's a lot of office politics, lots of backstabbing, lots of social anxiety you could have because you never know who you're talking to, what they could say behind your back, what's going on. So there's a lot of restrictions on your free speech. It's kind of a weird environment where it's not really a natural environment to spend all your your waking hours doing. So at 8:30 p.m. at night, which in a healthy, normal, functioning society, she should technically be back at home with her friends, family, husband, boyfriend, kids, whatever. She's back to work. And it really does make you think, if you have major investment banks, I understand they might need you to have a flexible work schedule. In this case, they should think about things more efficiently. But these big companies, they're not very efficient, as you'd probably assume they should be, right? So she should be able to kind of go back to home and work from home rather than working in the office like she is again, right? And it really makes you think, if these big banks don't have efficient processes, what's going on? Because if you have a major company, you go through the same kind of cycle of workflow with your investment banking clients, your sales and trading activity, why would you have a situation where people still need to come and work in the evening when couldn't they work from home, or couldn't they do the work the next day? Or don't you have some sort of automation or process to help manage this a bit better? But this is a reality, they kind of don't, and they kind of dump loads of work on people. And typically, if you're a high achiever, I don't know this person personally, but if you have this high achievement personality, which I assume maybe she would, going to a top university, studying a top degree, and then you kind of think, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to chase the dream, or I'm going to work hard and prove myself. And kind of often it doesn't pay off. So she's having dinner at the desk. Again, not necessarily a healthy lifestyle practice to have your life, your gym sessions kind of at work, your social life's at work, all your meals are at work, and all these things typically do cost. In some cases, companies will reimburse and pay for your dinner, but the other meals you're paying for, expensive coffees, expensive breakfast. In some cases, if you're paying for expensive dinners, no real this is someone who's going to spend a lot of their money just keeping up with a work lifestyle rather than saving it and investing it to retire early. So she's going home at 10:15, right? And she's saying she's not done with work, so that's quite late to go back home at that time. She gets a free Uber from work, and then she logs back in at 11 p.m. and goes to sleep around 12:30. And she says, cry and repeat, right? Now, I'm not saying every day of her life is like that. I think that'd be unsustainable. But there have been cases, as I'm sure you're aware, I'll let the video replay while I talk you through it, where, these people have, ended their lives, basically, right? They have self-deleted themselves, however you want to describe it, because you can't live this life over, several years without it impacting you in some way. Many people might pick up a habit involving substances. They might inevitably kind of, have dysfunctional social relationships, no marriage, no kids, no things like that. Maybe waste a lot of their money trying to provide themselves with fulfillment, paying for mental health therapy, paying for expensive trips. She's paying probably a lot of money each day for the food that she's buying and the coffees, right? And it's not going to provide you with that fulfillment over the long term. So you really need to, crunch the numbers and think, okay, what's sustainable over the long term? Because this isn't necessarily. When you pick a career, you really need to think about, you pick a career, you pick a lifestyle, and do you like the lifestyle that comes along with that career? Because in some cases you won't, and you have to be honest with yourself there. And then if you're not going to enjoy the lifestyle that comes along with that career, how much longer do you want to do it? And if you don't want to do it for that much longer, then what's your exit plan? You're going to set up your own business, you're going to lower your living costs drastically, move abroad, things like that. So you really need to find a sense of fulfillment, and that's what's really bothering people right now, is that they're looking for a sense of fulfillment, but they're not finding it from these types of jobs. If you are going to do it, then again, make sure you're earning a lot of money and you are saving and investing that, so you have more time freedom at the back end. So as I mentioned, I've worked at some of these big name companies, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and so on. And what I offer here is I offer 3 solutions. All the links are in the description for people like you watching this. The first is 10 free career lessons from my ebook. The second is a free discovery call where I'll help guide you through your particular individual career and finance situation. And the third thing is a detailed, comprehensive career coaching program where I help you find a fulfilling career, help you have time freedom, whether it's remote work, work from home, hybrid work, part-time contract work, things like that, and help you be rich forever through helping you manage your budget, savings, and investments. And inevitably this will help you live a life you love, because you're living your life on your terms and not a company you're working for. So all the links in the description, feel free to reach out to me there. There are 2 recommended videos on the screen right now, a free ebook in the description, and I'll see you next time.